With 315 on the horizon and the last quarter of 2021 close by, we look forward to Citizencon and IAE. There's a ton of things on the roadmap right now that I'm super excited for, but there's a couple of things that I'm pretty hopeful that aren't on the roadmap that we're going to see either announced or talked about at CitCon. So today, I thought we'll go over what I think will be shown and announced at CitCon, and feel free to comment below what you think we will see. Starting off pretty easy with some ships. Firstly, we have the Origin 400i. Now this ship is rumored to be a medium ship, likely to compete with the Cutlass or the Freelancer, and this vehicle has been leaked for months and months and months now, and we still haven't seen it in game. Most likely I would expect us to see it either at CitCon or IAE, but the rumors are that it's already completed, so probably CitCon? Not too sure, we'll have to wait until it comes out, but that's my first prediction. Second is the Argo Raft. Now this one was a very small leak that happened a couple of months ago, and it's probably the ship that I'm most excited for right now. If the leaks are to be believed, the Argo Raft has the same chassis as the Argo Mole, except without the X-crossing engines and the lasers. It has a tractor beam, cargo, and other than that, we're not too sure what it could be. It could be a refining ship, could be a dedicated cargo ship. My personal belief is that it's either a mining ship or an external cargo ship similar to the Hull C. Regardless, Argo are by far my favorite manufacturer, so I'll be picking this one up if it does indeed come out. The third ship that I think we might see is a bit of a wild card. This one might actually be revealed prior to 315, although it would have to be revealed this week most likely, and that is a Mercury Star Runner bombing variant. The Hercules A2 is coming out with 315, and with it we're getting the bombing mechanic, but the two large bomb bays that it has might be a bit overkill. So a smaller vehicle, like the MSR, using that chassis, being a bomber variant, would make a lot of sense to me. This also combines with all of the knowledge we have of an unannounced variant of a player favorite ship that is apparently complete. And other than possibly a refining variant of another vehicle, I think the MSR bombing variant would be the most likely candidate. Tacking onto the ship section, I also think that we'll get one ship that we just will not see coming. Either a ship that works with a feature that's upcoming, like hacking or salvage, or something completely left field. I wouldn't be surprised if we get something hacking related, a vehicle that can do hacking minigames on larger scales, but I do recognize it's a bit of a stretch, so this could be my biggest stretch prediction. So, features. We've got a bunch of features coming up that I am certain we will see a bunch more of info on. Hacking. I'm expecting we're likely going to get a full presentation of how hacking is going to work, how it's going to apply to different vehicles and different situations, as well as if we're going to get different tiers of hacking, if we're going to get hacking loot, all these kinds of things. It is a feature coming out in 316, and we've seen very little about it, except for a concept UI. So if there's any time to do it, it's during CitCon. This would actually go along with the last Citizencon, where we actually saw a hacking mission being performed on Microtech, to the point where they could even show us the same mission again, but have the hacking actually working. Moving on, we have Salvage. I expect once again for us to see a lot of gameplay features with Salvage, both in the process of getting items and selling them. We are supposed to be getting Tier 0 Salvage very soon. However, vehicles like the Reclaimer and the Vulture, which is almost finished, won't have Salvage for at least 6 months. But that does mean they could show us what Salvage will look like in those larger vehicles, once again, fleshing out the verse. Moving on to jump points. Now, in the last Citizencon, probably the biggest thing that happened was right at the end of it, they showed us a concept of a jump point between Stanton and Pyro. Now, the feature that they showed last time was mostly to show off all of the new gas tech, which we've now gotten and is fantastic, but they threw that in there as a spicy little add-on at the end. With Pyro and Nyx nearing completion now, jump points can't be too far behind, and we've gotten the rumors that jump points are going to be coming into the game very soon, with a possible Microtech to Hurston jump point just to test out the tech. So I think in terms of candidates for things being shown at Citizencon, jump points has to be right up there. Next up we have refining, and I'm not talking about station refining. Ship refining is going to be a very integral part of the game, and we still haven't heard much on it, except for the fact that it's getting worked on. It's very important for us to be able to get fuel, it's very important for us to be able to get trade goods, and it's a huge part of multi-crew gameplay. If Citizencon is feature heavy, refining must be there. And this would also go along with the Argo Raft, which is, as I speculated, possibly a refining ship, and would also lead into the very next thing on my list, which is refueling. Over the last 2 months, we've actually seen quite a lot on refueling. For example, we've actually seen what it likely will look like, and apparently it's mostly done. They're already using the docking system that we see in things like the Constellation and the Hammerhead and the 890J, and they've used that to create a way to refuel in space or atmosphere. Once again, we could see this to a much larger extent. I would not be surprised if a lot of these come into one big presentation where they feature a lot of upcoming features. Maybe a person goes and hacks a thing, then they have to jump out, they have to run, go from Microtech to another place, so they go through a jump point. Once they get there, whoops, they forgot to bring fuel, they get a buddy to come refuel them. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy, but I think that that's something that, I mean, if I was part of CIG, it's likely something I would try to do, but then again, I only have like 300 subscribers. Hey guys, did you know that like 95% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed? You should subscribe, because that'd be cool. Thanks. Anyway, continuing on, dynamic events. Now that has been the biggest part of this year in terms of features. Dynamic events have run 3 times now. We had Xenothreat in January, then we had Night Times Lockdown, and we've had Xenothreat version 2. Now this is once again something we've talked about extensively this year, except they haven't got into super detailed ways that these events are working or how they'll be treated. I expect, as I'm sure you guys do, that we will have a Tony Z video where he goes over everything to do with Quanta and all the work that they've done. We did get an amazing video earlier this year about it, but I expect that some of that tech has advanced since then. If we are going to be talking about dynamic events, it's going to be during that presentation. And I think there's like a 99% chance we will be getting that presentation. Specifically in dynamic events, the one that I'm most excited for, and I'm hoping is a real thing, is the Gold Rush event. In the Tony Z video I was referencing, there's one screenshot you can take that shows you a bunch of prototype dynamic events. It includes Ninetales, it includes Xenothreat, it includes the upcoming Jumptown version 2, but it also includes a thing called Gold Rush. Now I have absolutely loved Xenothreat, I've loved Ninetales, I'm very excited for Jumptown version 2. Gold Rush sounds like a dynamic event for the miners. And I don't know about you guys, but that is what I spend 80% of my time on this game doing. So that would be crazy hype. I'd be super excited for that. For features, I've also got another pretty big wildcard, and that's drones. Now, I know that drones aren't really on the roadmap necessarily, and we're going to be waiting for them for a while, but it would be a pretty crazy thing for them to throw out there, at least concept-wise, saying this is how we think drones might work, this is how we think they might interact with the world, with Quanta, all of that sort of stuff. Because I know a lot of you Carrack owners are getting very, very lonely, solo flying your Carrack, not being able to throw out drones, as well as some of you Vulcan owners waiting ever so patiently to see if the vehicle will come to life. But this is a pretty big crapshoot. I think maybe 30% chance they talk about drones at all during Citizencon. One thing that I think they'll definitely touch on but could be expanded upon is capital ship gameplay. Once again, last Citizencon we got a lot of information about engineering, and we've gotten a little bit of information in the last 2 years about engineering as well, in terms of, hey, there's a fire in this corridor, we've got to put that out. Well, we can't put it out, we've got to cut power to the room so that we can space it. Oh, the power's not working, we need to reroute it from these other places. That's a really, really in-depth gameplay loop that I'm very excited for, and especially in capital ships, that is going to be where it is at its best. If we see any capital ship gameplay during this event, I fully expect working fires, power outages, and all of these things that I've been talking about for the last 2 years. Now, the really obvious stuff. So, on the website where they are talking about Citizencon, they mention it promises to be out of this world, or perhaps out of this system. Obviously, we're gonna be seeing some pyro. I would not be surprised if the bits of pyro we see are mostly some of just the terrain of some of the planets, as well as maybe a little bit of a look at Ruin Station, as well as in addition perhaps a lot of PvP elements that are going to be introduced into the game during this. But at the very least, we will be seeing pyro, probably 95% chance, and then Nyx, I think also probably about a 90% chance, 95% chance that we're going to see some of the other planets in that system. I think it's very important to remember in terms of Nyx that one of the planets was already completed and implemented into Stanton. I don't think it's that much of a stretch for us to assume that they've created the other 2 planets and had them ready. In fact, we could even see a jump from Nyx to Pyro to Stanton over the course of a presentation. I also expect them to announce several more systems going into development. From what we've heard, the Turbulent guys are doing an absolutely amazing job, and I think we're going to start seeing the fruits of their labor now. All of that was Persistent Universe stuff. What about Squadron 42? Honestly, I don't really know. Before you go down and dislike the video, it is possible we get a proper trailer for the game. If we do, I do not expect it to release until early 2023 at this point, even possibly mid-2023. I'm hoping at the very least they show us some of the gameplay of Squadron 42 as ships have changed, gold standards are starting to be implemented. There's all around new tech everywhere right now. Don't kill me if I'm wrong on that one, but I think we'll see a trailer, I really do. And lastly, tech. So, already touched a little bit on the Quanta system. I more or less expect a full Quanta presentation, possibly with its integration into game, so we can see how those changes that Tony Z talks about have been implemented and how they work in the real game. Other than that, I'm expecting us to see more renderer stuff and the ways that that's going to improve performance for people, and probably a bunch more back-end stuff that I just do not understand in the slightest. But yeah, that's mostly what I'm expecting from Citizencon. What about you guys? Tell me in the comments below about what you think Citizencon will bring to Star Citizen and Squadron 42. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps a lot. As a reminder to everyone, this month I am giving away a Hercules A2 over on my Twitch channel. So make sure you come say good day, play around with a couple of events with us, and try to win yourself an A2 Hercules. It's going to be a pretty sweet shit. Big days ahead for Star Citizen, that is for sure. I'll see you guys very soon.